Hi, Shannon Thickpen. Today we are going to do pigeon. So pigeon pose, a lot of you already know what that is, but I want to give you variations if pigeon isn't going to work for you at all. So we're going to start with the variation first of pigeon. So here's a variation of pigeon. Sit nice and tall. Remember, you're following doctor directives. You're only doing what's right for you. If I ask you to do anything your body tells you not to do, you're not doing it, okay? And here is actually a variation of pigeon. You just take that ankle and place it above the knee, because pigeon, your knees have to be agreeable to pigeon, okay? So if they're not, then you're gonna find a way to do it. And there's always a variation that can work for you. If this, taking your ankle above your knee, is not gonna work, then cross at your ankles. Or maybe your feet are apart, but the knee is bent a little bit. So that's really varying the pose, but that's what it is. It's moving from the hip externally or laterally away from the body and bending the knee. Okay, so here, if you can, would be a variation. Now, if you can do more, you can bend that knee or lie down here like that. Okay, so this is a pigeon variation. Anytime you're in a class, online, in person, if they're doing a pigeon and that's not going to work for you, you can try this. If possible, if you're able to do this and you want a deeper stretch while they're in pigeon, take your hand that's on the side where the knee is bent, the leg that is being supported, take that hand through the space between the legs, take your opposite hand outside the leg and bring both legs closer, and that'll give you a deeper stretch. Another pigeon variation. Inhale, exhale, breathe. Inhale, exhale, breathe. Good. And we'll do the other side. So same, because one side you might be able to do a more difficult variation, and that just, maybe not, but it just depends, right? So maybe you're here and this is good enough. Or you're bringing the leg closer for a deeper stretch. Again, the leg that's being supported, that side hand goes through the space between the legs and you grab the back of the leg that is supporting the opposite leg and pull the legs closer. Inhale, exhale. Good. And since we like to flow through everything that we do, you can bend your knees here or straighten your legs if it's okay. And you can roll up here. All right, and come forward. Inhale, exhale. All right, so there's a variation for pigeon. If you're okay with pigeon, let's go to down dog. Okay, inhale, exhale into your down dog. Carefully going into down. I know I jumped into down dog, but take your time and do what's right for you. Into your down dog. And today we'll take leg one up, one leg down dog. Good. And bend that knee. Good. Working your abs there. Navel to the spine. Bring that knee inside your hand. Okay, now depending on the knee again, you'll know, okay, I got to go to a sitting posture, or I want you to come onto your hip, but I don't want you to stay on the hip. If you need to go onto your hip, it's simply to move the foot out or in, and then you're coming off of the hip. That hip is not resting on the mat, not unless your foot is the shin is parallel to the front of your mat. I mean, you'd have to have really open hips, right? For the glute to be flat on the mat. So what I'd like you to do instead, if you're somewhere in between, Instead of having that hip rest on the mat, take a block and place it under there. That way your hips will be square. Your hips will be square, okay? You inhale, exhale, hip square. Good. And you rest that way. This way, you're training your body to open up in the hips in the proper alignment. If you're here, it's really hard to progress ever because you're not really opening up and using the correct form. So you want to make sure you use the correct form, okay? I know a lot of you like to rest on that hip in this posture and that opposite leg is turned out. Try not to do that. I'd rather you lie on your back or go into the sitting position, okay? Inhale, exhale. If you're in pigeon and can lower to the mat, stay up now. If lowering to the mat is not a good idea for you, then you stay more upright, okay? Inhale, exhale. If you can, lower onto a block or onto a pillow or onto your forearms. You put your forehead right between that brow, right above the brow, into the forehand or the block, and you breathe. It feels so good because it releases, that's a pressure point there, so it releases tension in the head, and it's wonderful. Good. Not only is it's a chakra in yoga terms. Good. It's a hormonal center there in more scientific terms. Okay. Inhale, exhale, your pituitary gland is there. Okay, I know, I'm saying too much. More than you need to know right now, right? Okay, inhale, come up. If, of course, you started to feel terrible, you just carefully come out of the pose. If you can, bend your back knee, okay? And reach back and grab it. If your body says no, or if you have to contort and go into some funky position to grab the foot, then maybe you're not grabbing it today, and that's okay because it's all what? It's all what? It's all good. You got to say the whole thing. It's all good. It's all good. It is. Whatever you can do, you just do what you can. All right, place your hands under you, curl your toes, and push back into that one leg down dog. That should feel really good to release that. If you're okay to do so, wild dog, heel coming outside the hip. You want to do wild thing? Don't worry about it if it's not for you, right? Here, wild thing. There you go. But if it's not for you, don't do it. If you are doing it, your shoulder has to be right over the wrist. Good. And you flip back, and we'll put that foot down. Adjust our feet. That was just a little bit of extra. You don't need to do that, of course, in pigeon. Down dog. You don't even have to go to down dog to go into pigeon, but we're just using a little flow here. One leg down dog. Bring that knee in. Hold that for a second. Yay, working your abs, working the core. Then carefully place it down. Slide the opposite leg back. Good. You're sitting and lying down on this side if that's the better variation for you. If that knee is saying all kinds of bleep, bleep, bleep explicitives, then you sit on your back. Move the foot out or in, depending on what's right for you. Use the block if that helps you to align the hips, to square up the hips, using the front of your mat as a guide to square your hips. Okay? Inhale, exhale. Perhaps you're coming closer to the mat, and you're breathing on this side. Inhale, exhale. Shoulders away from your ears. Inhale, exhale. One more breath. Good, then walk your hands back under your shoulders. This is a back bend, so you have to be very mindful, careful, navel to the spine. You can bend the back knee. You don't have to grab it. You don't even have to bend the back knee, but if it's okay for you, go ahead and bend it, and perhaps you'll grab the foot. Maybe you're real flexible and the foot comes all the way to the hip. I'm not that kind of flexible. So you have to do what's right for you, not forcing anything. And release. We'll curl the toes of that back leg. I'm removing the block. Hands under the shoulders and lift that leg to the sky. Now make your adjustments if you need to. So if you need to bring the foot down, then you can do that. Inhale, exhale. Bend the knee if you'd like. Take the heel outside the opposite foot. That's your wild dog. Then your wild thing, your shoulder stacks over your wrist and you flip over. Good. Don't have to do that. And flip back. And bring my foot sliding a little bit. So that's what you want to be mindful of. You don't want to happen is for your feet to slide. Breathe and come down. Good. Sit back in child's pose. Inhale, exhale. That was nice. Inhale, exhale. So there you go. A few variations for pigeon. Okay, make sure you do what you can. Do what's right for you. Here's another one. Just taking the legs. Here's a double. This is considered double pigeon. And there is a video, fire log, that I did a few weeks ago. That's double pigeon. This is a variation of pigeon. Again, your legs might not do that, and that's okay if they don't. That's a huge hip opener. Opposite one on top. So you're trying to stack the shins, right, and have your knees go out. Your knees might pop up, the foot might come in, but you do what you can. You start where you are and you do what you can. You do have greatness inside of you, and I believe in you. Inhale. Namaste.